About 6 weeks ago, I gave Tarkov a go for the first time, and it wasn't what I needed. So this is where Arena Breakout came along, and I gave it a go. I thought, hey, I just spent 60 quid on Tarkov and I can't get a refund. Let's give Arena Breakout a go. And lo and behold, this game now takes up 50% of my gaming time at least. And for the first 3 weeks, it took up pretty much every day, non-stop repeat. I started making videos on the game, I started creating scientific tests on the game, and overall, I love this game. So, while making all these videos and playing the game, I thought to myself, what could make this game even better and get even more people playing it just like they should? And have I come up with some amazing ideas for this game. Honestly, Arena Breakout, if you're watching this, take notes and let's get into my ideas. What could make Arena Breakout one of the best extraction shooters yet? The first thing I want to talk about is the sound. I made a video on sound and a lot of the comments were all over the place on how sound works. Sound's not working for half of the people. People are complaining about hearing distances. They think it should be better. Okay, overall, sound needs a major overhaul from what I've seen and from the comments I've seen online, as well as on my own video. Sound needs a lot of improvement. Now, it's not terrible, but it can be so much better. I don't really know how to implement this, but as a quick one, sound could use a big improvement. Now, for me, I am a small little YouTuber man, and, you know, I make a few movies on the game, and getting footage to make the videos seem more like movies is really difficult for me. I have to go into a game, scale up my OBS, and do a bunch of hibba-da-juba, and hope that it comes out nice and fluid. But what I would love to see is a replay feature. Not only would this be useful for content creators on the game, it'd also be super useful for players to rewatch their matches from like a bird's eye perspective. You can see what the enemy players are doing, you can see what everyone else in the map is doing, and I think it would overall make the game really interesting and would add a lot of opportunities for content, a lot of opportunities for players to further engage with how matches work and how they can learn. They can literally go through the entire map if they wanted to. I think that would be a great feature for a lot of different reasons. Now, another really cool feature that I would like to see is adding shooting range but making it online. Making it so you can go into a shooting range with teammates to 1v1, 2v2, aim train together. The more interesting, and it just makes it way more interesting, and it's just a nice feature where you can hop into a shooting range together before you load up the game or you load into your first match. You can do a little 1v1, 2v2, and you can kind of like play against each other, play against your friends. We don't really get to see this much at all in Arena Breakout because there's no way physically that you can get into the same lobby to PvP with your friends, but this would be a nice little feature if you could you know, set up like a 4v4 or to set up a little shooting range match. You can practice together. It'd be quite a nice commutative, that's a big word, a commutative feature, which I think would be awesome. Okay, a quick one that I think they need to improve is the lockdown zones. I know they just did a hotfix on the 24th, but I don't think it's enough still. I'm still loading into a lockdown zone and getting absolutely blasted. I also think while adding on to, you know, improving how lockdown budgets work and things like that, they should make it so your bullets count towards your gear value, because you can go in with a crazy kit and add on 300k worth of bullets, and I think that would change the way that people make their kits and things. It might be a bit annoying for some players, but I think overall would be an improvement because you would get less higher tier bullets in lower tier matches and would kind of even it out. Or from what I've seen online, a tier cap on lockdown zones instead of a gear cap, you get a tier cap. Another feature which I think would be really cool and make the game a bit more, would make each game a little bit more unique, is starting to add a level above red. So, you know, you get your red items. I think there should be a level above it. Maybe something less like rainbow for common sake. Something like rainbow. Now, when you pick up this item in a game, the only way you can obtain it is by some sort of supply drop or airdrop or big world event that you have to participate in. But this flags to everyone in the game that this event is happening here and the rainbow colored pickup is there now. Now, if you pick up this item, it will not only flag to the whole game of where you are, but it will also, you know, be an insanely difficult extraction. So this would amp up the tension, the drama, and it would make for some interesting content to see online. Now, how often should this event play out? Not very often at all. And if they were to make it an often event, they need to do something to, you know, make it very what's the word, not very valuable items, but I think it would be cool if, you know, 1 in every 100 games you play, you'll come across this event, and you'll have the chance to get into some proper competitive matches for this thing. And you have no idea where it's happening. It could happen 5 minutes into a game, 10 minutes into a game, somewhere around there, and I think it would make it really, really interesting. You know, you've just loaded into a game, you've got a crazy kit, you've got some kills. What's just happened? A rainbow drop has just appeared on the middle of the match, and you're thinking to yourself, do I leave my red behind and my kits? And do I risk everything I have now to go for one of the most valuable items in the game that I know I'm going to have to fight grit over nail for? I think that would be an insane feature to add. I think it would just be awesome. Another feature I think would be really, really cool for us content creators is the ability to apply to create your own custom matches. Now, these matches would offer very little loot, but would only be run by trusted content creators. So meaning some of the top players in the game can live stream their matches, you can join, and he can kind of like spectate or something along those lines, so we can get more community sense rather than just like going into each game. I think it'd be cool if there were some game modes that creators could run and players could run themselves. Even if you're not bringing any loot out at all, it's for the purpose of, you know, just playing the game, having fun, that sort of thing. It's a very loose idea in my brain, but I can see it working in some way where you can make a private match and everything you get out of it is just put towards some sort of community points or something, when you can earn rewards by playing more and stuff. And the only people who can run these events are creators, making it more of a community thing and overall improving the game's image. You know, it gives a lot more for people to do rather than just load in and play the game. They can load in, play with their favorite creators, make new friends this way as well. You know, it'd be kind of a cool thing to do. Now, obviously, I don't want this to be a forefront of a meta and to be game breaking. It just needs to be something where you can have fun, be a bit more competitive. You can maybe some people can make some leagues out of this. You know, the best extraction shooters can play in it and compete with each other. And yeah, I think that sort of thing would be really, really cool to see. Now, going towards AI and how the AIs work in the game, I think the AIs could be potentially and should be more dangerous. You know, at the moment, you can literally run up to an AI with a knife, stab him in the face. There's nothing crazy about AIs in the game, really, unless you're walking into a boss. And I think some of the AIs should be a little bit more smart. You know, they should hit more of their shots. You should worry about them more. Because, you know, they are part of the world, and when that part of the world isn't as dangerous, it makes the match feel a little bit more peaceful. And this game should have you, you know, the heart tense at all times. So having some AIs, you know, play like players and be annoying would make the game more interesting, because then you're actually thinking about, oh yeah, let's wipe out all the AI first, rather than, you know, leaving them because they don't matter. It'd be cool if, you know, they had a little bit more danger factor to them. As far as maps go, pretty much all of the maps I like. I can't complain about any of them apart from Valley. Don't like that map, but you know, if you like it, you like it. I'm feeling like I'm getting a little bit bored of some of the maps and I'm rotating around. So, you know, it would be cool to get a couple new maps, you know, each season. You know, always a new map to play on. Even if it comes in on a rotation basis, you know, where they have the set 5 and then every week a new limited time map comes out and they just rotate them round. And, you know, there's increased loot for these maps. It would make it more interesting, as you know, a lot of players won't know how to play on those maps, making it harder to, you know, successfully extract. Whether, you know, if I'm playing on farm, I know farm really well. I can spawn trap people on there because I know it that well. But when there's a limited time mode that has increased the loot and, you know, increased rewards on a map I don't know, I'm going to be playing completely differently compared to a map I know really, really well. And I think it would be cool to, you know, cycle through these maps, and it would just be kind of cool. I don't know. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think that would be cool, or do you think that would kind of be a bit annoying, you know, having to learn a new map for, you know, have the chance to have increased loot? Another thing that I think would be really cool, and my last point, is clans and guilds. It would be really cool to have like some sort of clan system where you have to work towards as a group of like maybe 10 towards a shared sort of storage, shared sort of hideout. And, you know, you can go into this hideout, customize it, walk around it. Maybe that could even be the shooting range that you and your buddies load up into. You kind of have this space where you can build it up to the way you want, and your community who you play with can, you know, go in there and enjoy themselves, do some shooting, you know, make some weapon builds and show off their weapon builds to the other people in the clans. I think that would be really cool, you know, having shared storage for some of the clan as well. It would have some sort of clan-based missions as well. You know, adding an extra depth of layer to the game rather than you can just do the whole thing solo. There's some things that you're going to need people for, and this could be a way to implement those sort of cooperative feelings. Now, that's all the ideas I have for the game. It's a lot to take in at once. I think I've just thrown like all of them at you. You know, these are just ideas from me and some things I've seen online as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you check out my other videos. I do little movies, and I also do some, like, as you can see, some scientific shiznit. But yeah, that's all I've got to say for today. The next movie will be on the way on the next video. In a bit, everyone.